Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 7, Episode 22, Tell All Part 2. We have reached the final part of The Other Way Tell All, and we have a lot to discuss, and this part was juicy. And when I say juicy, it was juicy. So we picked up where we left off last week with Manon storming out and everything because Anthony's not defending her. Anthony is just drained from this marriage. I mean, he loves his wife, which is good and everything. He wants to fight for it, but he's still drained from it because there's nothing he can say or do that will ever fully make Manon happy and everything. So Manon storms out and she talked to the producers and she was getting ready to leave and stuff. But then in an off-camera conversation, the producers convinced Manon to come back to the tell-all basically and everything. And so she comes back in, she's still like really upset with Anthony, but she decides to come back. So we get back to this. She comes back. Everybody comes back from their little lunch break and everything. And the first couple that they talk to is Luke and Madeline. So Luke and Madeline, this is pretty interesting. So they're kind of still together, but Luke had to come back is now living in America because his little property investment and hotel investment that he wanted to do in Colombia did not fall through. It didn't work out, so he has to come back to the States to make some money. He still wants to move to Colombia permanently, but he's currently in the States to make money and everything. And Madeline said that that's fine because they need the help with that. Now, one of the big questions was what happened to their wedding rings. Wasn't Luke wearing his wedding ring? So Madeline lost her wedding ring. Her story is that like she was in her car, and then some like fluids started coming out of her car and started burning, and I don't know, there's something with her hands and stuff, and the ring fell out and fell in the car. She looked for it everywhere and everything, couldn't find it and everything. So like that was her story basically. So she wanted Luke to give her his wedding ring so she could go basically make two brand new ones or whatever and everything. And that didn't work. Dylan actually called this. He was like, I don't even think this happened. Dylan said that I think that you actually pawned the ring. I personally think you pawned the ring. And Sean had asked like, Luke, do you think she really did that? And Luke said, when she told me that she had lost the ring, she was really crying and upset and everything. So I don't think she really did that basically, but yeah. So it does sound suspicious, but I mean that's what's really happened. So be it. So now they decided to bring out Luke and Madeline's old friend Brian. You remember Brian? He's the one that basically, I guess Madeline ruined his marriage. Basically, he used to be good friends with Madeline first before Madeline met Luke, but then they had a big falling out and stuff and everything. Well, they brought out Brian, and Madeline was not really happy to see him and everything. Brian's, he came in, he was just like, look, I'm not here to make Luke choose between me and you or anything, or say anything bad about you, but y'all's relationship is toxic, basically, and anybody can see that, how toxic Luke and Madeline's relationship is. Now, apparently, this Brian guy owes Luke and Madeline a lot of money. I guess he owes them $150,000, like some kind of loan that they agreed to take out and everything, and he hasn't been able to pay them back. This Brian guy says, like, in Colombia, dealing with gold, he said he's been kidnapped before, he's been like robbed and everything, and when you're dealing with stuff like this in Colombia, it's very dangerous, which he's right. I do know in Colombia it's very dangerous is when you're dealing with stuff like that Yeah, he's not lying when he says that. But Madeline is flipping out and saying that, oh, you stole money from us, you stole money from us, and everything. And Luke was just like, let him speak, let him tell him his side of the story. And Madeline was like, if you dare to take his side, we are through and everything. You're not even supposed to be talking to him. You're only talking to him so we can get our money and everything. You're not really supposed to be liking him. If you take his side, you're gonna have a problem with me and everything. And so they asked, like, okay, what is your friendship like with Brian? And he he said that he loves Brian, he loves his friend and everything. Now, when he said that he loves his friend, Madeline flipped out. She's like, oh, you love him. Oh, go be with Brian then. We are through. No marriage, nothing, this, and that, and everything. We're not married or anything. We're broken up and everything. And I'm just like, girl, please, please. Now, here's also an interesting fact with Luke and Madeline. So with him being back in the States, and them getting married in Colombia, um, Madeline had gotten her gotten a K1 visa. And Anthony had asked, wait a minute, how did you guys get a K1 visa with you guys being married? So what happened was is that Luke and Madeline had already applied for a K1 visa, but they didn't hear nothing back at all, nothing at all whatsoever. And so they went on ahead and got married in Colombia. And like right after they got married, they got approved for their visa, basically. So it's not like fully legally binding, basically. And Madeline is supposed to be in America in a couple weeks and stuff. So, because rumor had it that they were filming, like that she was filming, something. So maybe they're gonna be on the next season of 90 Day Fiancé. I don't know, but yeah, that was pretty interesting that she got in her K1 visa after they got married in Colombia. But they're also saying that there's a possibility that that wedding was fake. I don't like it when, if it's fake and stuff and everything. Just I don't like getting into that, but it's whatever. But back to their little relationship. Madeline was just like, "Oh, you love Brian and everything. Go be with him. We're done." And then Sean asked Luke, like, "Are you and Madeline still together?" And he's like, "Yes." And then she asked Madeline, "Are you and Luke still together?" She's like, "No, we're done." And then Luke was like, "Well, I guess I changed my mind. I guess we're not together then." And everything. Everybody's just like, "Well, Luke, she just kind of broke up with you right now, like, and everything." But everybody's just like, "It's just a normal thing." And yes, it is. It's a normal thing. They even showed like a clip of what happened at Luke's little bachelor party with the stripper and everything. And Madeline, she says she regrets her actions about throwing the cake in the face, but she still says that Luke should have just still left the room when that happened. And I'll kind of give her that one, because I'll give her that one. And he could have, and I even said that when that happened, he could have left, basically. So. So yeah, we just got like nowhere with Luke and Madeline. I don't know what they are and everything. Like there's been talks about Luke and Chloe possibly getting together. I don't know. Don't really care. but yeah, Madeline and Luke, like it just really doesn't make no sense in my opinion. So yeah. So after that, they decided to take a break, and everybody was just like, Luke, get out of that relationship, man. Get out of it. Like, she is just too much. Even Greta told him. Greta told him, like, get out and everything. So, after their segment, Manon leaves again. And this time she's taking Anthony with her. Anthony and Manon had a little conversation. She's like, everybody's important to you but me. Like, Anthony's trying to enjoy everybody, enjoy his friends, and enjoy being at the tello with everybody. And Manon's just crying, like, you don't do this for me. She was like, I just want to be in bed with you naked and stuff and everything. Just you holding me and everything. Not necessarily sex, but just you holding me and stuff and everything. And he was just like, you know what? If you want to leave, we can leave together if you want to have them. But he was like, we had to have a conversation. And I will leave with you if you want to leave. So she talked him into it. And Anthony and Manon left the tell-all early. basically. And that's sad. I wanted them to stay, or at least I wanted Anthony to stay. Manon could have gone, but I wanted Anthony to stay because yeah, that was just sad. Like I just feel like that, like it looks like that Manon is broken, but I feel like Anthony's more broken in this because Manon, like here's the thing with Manon. Manon, like I love her. I do love her confidence, and I love her go-getter mentality and stuff. I love how she wants to be successful and she wants to do things and not sit around. But her delivery is terrible, and the way she goes about it, it's just it's very aggressive and very toxic. Like I said, I love how she wants to take charge and like do her own thing and be a boss and everything. But the way she's going about it is just not healthy. It's not healthy to her marriage and stuff. So that's just something that she's gonna have to work on, and that's probably why Anthony just feels like no matter what he says or does, he can never win and make her happy. So yeah, so they left. After they left, like before they left, also Patia showed Luke and Anthony a little like little stripper move dance or whatever. It was pretty funny. And then now it's time for Patia and Dylan's segment. So Patia and Dylan, they're still engaged. And Dylan is actually supposed to be in America in a couple weeks, and they're gonna try to file the K-1 visa and go through all that paperwork while he's here. I guess he's gonna be here for a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever, and everything. They showed the clip of the very last regular season episode when they had that big fight in the gym about Dylan accusing Patia of doing things in the champagne room, basically, and everything. And he apologized for having that conversation at the gym. He said that was like inappropriate to have there and whatever. And then they decided to bring out Dylan's mom. Now, you guys remember, Patia has such a big issue with Dylan's mom, Jo, with her calling him all the time and everything. And this is where it got interesting because they brought out Dylan's mom. She says hi and everything. And Patia just starts complaining about his mom, about the calling all the time and everything. And like Dylan's just like, this is my mom. We talk all the time. We're allowed to talk all the time. And she's just like, you don't have to talk all the time. Maybe once in a while and this and that. I really don't understand why Patia is so fixated on and worried about Dylan talking to his own mother. And I've even said this multiple times when they were complaining about it early in the season, that this relationship is this mother son relationship is nothing like Brandon and Julia and stuff and everything. It's nothing like or even like how Jenny and Submit's Submit and his mom's relationship, basically. Sorry, guys. But basically, she's still basically complaining that she just keeps calling it and everything. So Dylan's mom was just like, Patia, I never had much of an issue with you and everything. I don't understand why I don't understand why you're jealous, basically jealous of me and Dylan's relationship and everything. She's like, I'm not jealous. It's just like inappropriate at times. So they also, and this was just random, but they also brought out one of Patia's friends that she works with at the club or whatever, who comes in pregnant and everything. And this girl comes in and she was like, yeah, Patia tells me about their relationship and everything, about the conversations of Dylan and his mom, and they are inappropriate. And they're talking about like the mom is talking about him going to the gynecologist or whatever and everything, and they feel like that's inappropriate to talk to you about with your son. I'm like, it's a medical. Mothers and sons talk about their medical history all the time with each other. So how's that inappropriate? If they have to go to the doctors for something, even if it's a gynecologist, who cares? And everything. And Patia's just like, it's still inappropriate, and her friend, Pointless, being there is saying the same thing. I'm like, okay, well, the friend has no business in this conversation anyway. That's between Dylan and his mother and Patia. Like, this friend doesn't know them. So I don't even know why she was there. So after after that, the cast kind of chimed in, and Johnny actually said something that's really well. Johnny lost his mother. Greta also lost her mother, and Jenny lost her mother, and everything. So they said their moms are not alive, and everything. But they said that and Luke said that he talks to his dad all the time. So and they were all said the same thing. Your parents are not going to be here all the time, your whole life. So you got to cherish every kind of moment you have with them. And, yes, there could be a little bit more boundaries that could be set and everything, but nobody's going to come in between the relationship between me and my parents. Sorry, guys, got a minor cold. But anyway, so, but they showed a clip of Patia and Dylan getting engaged and everything. And they showed a clip of them video chatting with Dylan's mom, and she was like, oh, that was quick and everything, and Patia got really mad about that. But Dylan's mom was just like, I'm really happy for you guys, and you guys have my blessing, basically. And Sean had asked, like, are you gonna be upset when he comes to America? And she was like, yeah, but they got my blessing. And when she said that she got the blessing, Patia started crying. She was like, that's all I ever wanted. I wish it was done sooner, though, and everything. So, the mom wished her the best and everything. But I give Dylan's mom, Joe, much credit. She kept her composure, because Patia was really disrespectful with this whole thing and everything. And Dylan was just like, you're making my mom look bad. And she was like, well, what about me? You're making me look bad and everything, it shouldn't be this way. You shouldn't really get mad about his relationship with his mother. That's his mother, basically. And like I said, this is not a Brandon and Betty situation. They do have a healthy mother, or Colt and Debbie situation. They have like a healthy mother-son bond, basically. So yeah. So I guess Dylan's supposed to be coming to America. We'll see if he does or not, and everything. They apply for the K1 visa, and they're so far, I feel like, the happiest couple. Despite all of this, Dylan and Patia are the happiest couple on the stage, basically, in my opinion. So yeah. So after Dylan and Patia, then we went over to Jenny and Submit. So Jenny and Submit, Jenny is still living with Submit's parents, which she can't stand. They're still running that little cafe, like she really doesn't want to be there and everything. And yeah, she's just over it. She says she wants to move quick, like she's still threatening, like either we're moving quick, you're moving with or without me, and everything. They brought out Submit's parents and everything, and they still accept the relationship, surprisingly, despite these issues and everything. But they said that they move out, they ain't gonna like that. They're gonna be upset. But here's the interesting thing: Submit's brother and sister-in-law Cherie, they moved out. And apparently they moved out because Submit's father said that, I guess, like, they started to eat a lot more meat and stuff, and they're not being like vegetarians or whatever, and they like to eat more meat and everything. And we're just like, wait, what? That's the reason? But then Greta made a good point. She's like, yeah, when you're a vegetarian and then start going back to the smell of meat and stuff and everything, it really doesn't sit well with you. So she explained that, basically. So, but Jenny was just like, okay, but still, Submit's brother and sister-in-law get to leave, but why can't we leave and everything? And Submit is just so fixated about living with his parents forever and everything, and I really don't understand that, because now it's just, You know, and Sean even called it out. You're blaming the culture. You say it's the culture, but then your brother just left. So your brother. So did your brother decided to break the culture tradition? He's like, yeah, he did, and everything. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is. I even said this, like, culture or not, like, this is a bit much. And submit it. I see why everybody is mad at Jenny for just being like, oh, Jenny, you're lazy, suck it up buttercup type thing. Jenny is old and she wants her freedom and everything. She moved to India to get away from the pressures of the United States drama that we have over here and everything, to be with her husband. But then her husband wants to move in with his strict parents and everything while she's in her late 60s and stuff and everything. So, and with Jenny not working and don't really want to do nothing in the cafe, basically, and everything, so she's kind of stuck. She says she don't really want to come back to America, but things are not going well. She was like, I'm either gonna move out with or without you, Submit. He's like, oh, well, that's a threat and everything. And she's like, basically, take it how you want it. I'm done with this and everything. So yeah, I do know Submit's mom and the other daughter-in-law, Cherie, they really didn't get along either and stuff. So I give them credit on finally moving out and stuff and everything. But I just don't understand Submit. Like he really wants like to live this part. Unfortunately, his parents are not going to be there forever either, and they just get another place, apartment, and Jenny said they could come over whenever they want. We'll go back to the house whenever we want and everything. It's just why do we have to actually live together? It's like that song, everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together? but yeah, so Jenny, I'm on Jenny's side when it comes to this. Yes, she could be a little bit more helpful when it comes to the cafe and everything, and learn a little bit stuff and everything. But I see her point. So they also brought out Submit's friend, Rohit, the other business partner that had a pain about them opening up the business. They brought him out and they talked about Submit. They talked about the cafe and just how both Jenny and Submit are in la la land when it comes to that, and, like, not knowing what they're doing basically and everything. And then they also talked about Submit going out with him getting drunk. Jenny does not like Submit going out with him and getting drunk because I guess Submit, when he gets drunk, he be crawling all over the floor and everything. It was funny how she said that. And when Submit's friend said that, that Submit had made a lie about Jenny and said that when he was working for that guy, she didn't want him coming to work or whatever. And Jenny was like, that is a lie. I'd never told him not to go to work and not to see him or whatever. Why would you lie about that? And I can see that. I can see that lie. Because, Submit likes to fabricate a lot of things and everything to get his way and everything. He can't get his way all the time, in my opinion. He just can't. So yeah, but Jenny is just tired of just Submit. He's basically acting like a child. He's in his late 30s and he's starting to become a man child, and Jenny's sick of it. So rumor has it Jenny and Submit are going to be on the last resort, and I feel like this is going to be the storyline and just address the elephant in the room that Submit needs to grow up a little bit and everything, and he needs to take accountability for what he's doing and he's not making his wife happy. He's just doing he Submit said that in his culture that the parents are the gods in his culture. That was really surprising to me. When you call your parents gods and stuff and everything, that's the biggest disrespect to God himself and everything. Your parents ain't God. Yes, you got to respect your parents, but they ain't God. And any religion going to tell you that. Your parents ain't nobody God. They ain't God. There's only one God. I was just like, wow. So we wrapped up the segment. Jenny is just like, I'm done with this. She just wants to get out of the parents' house, and that's it. So after Jenny and Submit, they circle back to Chloe and Johnny. And this is where things got really kind of disturbing, exciting and disturbing at the same time. Um, they asked like Johnny, do you still have like feelings for Chloe, and do you want to get Chloe back, basically? And Johnny was like, yeah, we have like a big sexual chemistry and everything, like, and then he was like, take me back, Chloe, and everything, and all that, like, well, I'll do better and stuff and everything. And they asked like, is Chloe seeing anybody? She said no, and everything, and then she's just like, I don't know. And then they asked Johnny, Johnny, are you seeing anybody? And after, and before that, like, Chloe was thinking, like, if I do give him a chance, it's not going to be in Aruba. It could be in Boston. And and they were like, well, there's also she doesn't want him being around cute, beautiful girls. Well, there's beautiful girls, and she's like, there's beautiful girls in Boston. And well, there's beautiful girls everywhere. Basically, I think Patia said that. Yeah, there's beautiful girls everywhere, not just in the city of Boston, Massachusetts. There's pretty girls anywhere. Then he asked, like, are you seeing anybody? Chloe says no. Johnny was just like, after saying that he wants her back and wants it to work out, he makes a shocking announcement. And we found this out last week. It's now officially confirmed by him. Johnny revealed that he got another woman pregnant. And I guess this woman's name is Emily. And yeah, he got this girl pregnant a few months after him and Chloe broke up. And I guess she's due in March. And when Chloe found out, she was in shock. She broke down. And Sean was like, okay, like, well, Johnny, you just broke this news to us, but you were just a minute ago, you were saying how you want Chloe back and want travel to Boston and stuff and everything. And he's like, it's complicated, but yeah. And they also asked him, do you see marriage with this girl? And he was like, yeah, possibly. And then he likes to circle back to it. He was just like, oh, well, I thought you just meant that we could just be good friends and everything, rekindle our friendship and everything. Chloe broke down. I felt so bad for Chloe. We've been hard on her all season, but I felt extremely bad for Chloe in that situation. She just broke down. And then he gonna talk about, oh, well, Chloe, she has tough skin, she'll be all right, and everything. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Chloe, and everything, but you got tough skin, you'll be all right. That's no, no, like, you're disgusting, dude. And he's still worried about his reputation and stuff and everything. He's not doing a good job of protecting his reputation, because that right there just really destroyed his reputation. And what your baby mama gonna see when she sees that and everything, how you were trying to get back with Chloe and everything, and then reveal, oh, I'm about to have a baby with somebody else, dude, bye. So Chloe breaks down and everything, and we wrap up the tell-all and everything. Chloe, Greta, and Luke are going out for drinks afterwards and everything. Chloe asked Luke, are you single now? And he was just like, I guess so. And everything. Madeline was like, oh, call Luke, whatever, and everything. You lost me, blah, blah, blah. You're terrible, blah, blah, blah. Just typical Madeline stuff. Jenny's just ready to go. And Greta said the best part of the tell-all was seeing Hazel, which I knew she was going to say that. She said that she hopes her and Matthew can keep in touch and be friends, but she said she has no feelings for Matthew. So that was about it, guys. It's done. It's done. 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 7 is officially done. And so are we. So as I mentioned in my video yesterday, there will be no Before the 90 Days this week due to the Super Bowl. Go Patriots. My team is playing in the Super Bowl, so I'm going to be partying it up on Sunday. But we will be back on Monday as we kick off 90 Day, The Single Life, Season 5 and everything. So that's going to be my next review. We'll see you guys back here next Monday and Tuesday for my review of The Single Life. Yeah, so we're gonna enjoy a night off of 90 Day Fiance and be back in a week. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Again, thank you guys so much for the love and support that I've been getting lately and everything. Hope you guys enjoy my content. Sorry, I'm a little sick with everything, but I'm getting better. So I will see you guys next Monday and Tuesday for the Single Life review. Until then, y'all stay safe and have a good one. Bye, y'all.